Okay, I'm back. We are going to do our meditation now, and it's going to be nice and gentle and participate at your comfort level. Meditation is such a beautiful thing because there's no one size fits all approach to meditation, and I encourage people to just allow themselves to relax to their comfort level. And if it feels, don't just give in. But if it gets to feel like, oh my gosh, I don't know that this is feeling good anymore, then you stop. And the beautiful thing with meditation is you always just come back to your breath. Meditation is connecting with your breath, connecting in this present moment. So if we're going through the meditation and your mind starts going, or you start thinking of other things and you haven't heard some of the words that I was saying, that's okay. You can just pick up where you left off. If you want to start over, you can, but I would encourage you just to stay in that moment and keep going, because whatever happened was supposed to happen for you to bring it up, get it out, release it, and move forward. So if at any point you find yourself distracted and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, she's talking, just bring yourself back to the breath. Just reconnect with your breath and then pick up where you are. Meditation is beautiful and extremely forgiving for us. So before we begin, get yourself seated in a spot. If you can get somewhere that's quiet, great. And if not, meditation isn't about complete silence either. Meditation is simply being with ourselves and with our breath. So you can be seated. If you're on the ground, you can sit crisscross applesauce. If you're in a chair, you can sit crisscross applesauce or have your feet on the floor. Don't cross your legs. It's all just energy and flow, and our breath, really allowing our breath have as good of posture as you can with your spine nice and vertical, your head up. Or you can be lying down if you need to lie down as well. Please feel free to do that. Once you are comfortable and seated or lying down, you can just gently close your eyes and connect with your breath. And sometimes, depending on how much my mind is racing, I will begin to say inhale, exhale. Just in my mind, I am focusing on the inhale, so I'm giving my mind a job to do instead of it kind of going off on its own. And now we're going to deepen our breath. We are going to take deeper breaths into our stomach. Really expanding our lungs, expanding our chest all the way down to our stomachs, and then a full exhale, releasing all of that air, allowing it all to come up. And we're going to do that again. And one more time. And now just simply allow yourself to breathe normally, whatever feels comfortable. If during this meditation as well, you feel that you need to yawn, or you need to take a deeper breath or sigh, you need to let out a sigh, please do so, because that is a release of energy. That is a way that your body is using. It's a tool your body uses to relax more. So I find often when making decisions, when trying to relax, in stressful situations, I find my body taking deeper breaths or having to do an audible. And that is all great and beautiful. So don't be afraid to just allow that to happen. And we'll just continue breathing, giving our mind an opportunity to do what it needs to do. Letting our body settle in a little bit more. And now we're going to begin to turn our attention to our heart space. And what I would like you to imagine is that with every breath that you take in and release, that it all begins and ends with your heart. So imagine as you take your next inhale that the inhale is starting from your heart. Your heart is the first place that that air goes, and then when the heart is filled, it begins to distribute that air, that oxygen, through the rest of your body. So imagine it's like the gatekeeper. It takes in the inhale, and the air, as it goes through the heart, it then goes through the rest of your body. So it's as you're inhaling from a place of love and grace and gratitude. And all of that air now is infused with those feelings going through your body. And then on the exhale, it's doing just the other way around. It's leaving all the parts of your body. All of that exhale is coming to your heart space. And the last part of that exhale releases from your heart. So we're going to do that for a few breaths. You've probably been doing that now. Imagining that inhale starting in your heart, flowing through your body, and then your body taking with the exhale all that back out and exhaling it through your heart space. And the longer you can sit here and keep putting your attention into the inhale and exhale through your heart, the more you will begin to go into a rhythm, the more you'll be able to feel it happening. So stay in that space. This is also something you can use at any point during the day. You can simply drop into your heart and breathe through that space. And now I want you, from your heart space, to begin to acknowledge and even honor the stresses, the burdens, the pressure, all of the things that feel like they've stacked up on you. I want you to just allow them to come to the forefront. And keep breathing and exhaling from that heart space. And as you see or feel the stress that is coming forward, or the hard things, imagine yourself seeing it, feeling it, and then allowing it, placing it in a basket. There's a basket in front of you. And as you are inhaling and seeing the stress of the extra work you have on your plate, allow yourself to inhale that through love, through your heart. And as you're exhaling through your heart, simply place that feeling, that stress, in the basket. And let's just do that for a few breaths. Any of those pressures and stresses, just add them to the basket. And as you continue to fill the basket, Allow yourself to recognize all that you've been holding and carrying. And not just things. Who are the people that you've been holding and carrying? You love them. You want the best for them. But holding them and carrying them is weighing on you. This is a safe space for you to put the oxygen mask on yourself first. This is a safe space to put those people in the basket for right now. This is time you are giving to yourself because you deserve it, because you need it. Because this time with yourself, taking care of yourself every day, allows you more flexibility and freedom to better take care of everyone else around you. Knowing that if we're not taking care of ourselves, we're not able to help others to the best of our ability. Knowing that if we continue to push ourselves in this way, we are going to burn out, or it's going to manifest into some physical ailment that's going to come forward. This is your opportunity to just put it in the basket and give yourself a moment of quiet. Allow those feelings to come up. Feeling all your feelings is so important. Our feelings simply want to be recognized. They want to be heard and felt. They're not going to stay. If you're sad in this moment, you're not going to be sad forever. So just allow yourself to feel everything you've been carrying. Remember to keep that breath in your heart space. And as we continue to fill our basket, we're now going to turn our attention to the basket. And we can peek inside of it and see what's there. And we can take a deep breath knowing that we are safe, that our feelings are safe, that our stress is safe. But we also can recognize how putting the stress in the basket, putting those things in the basket, how much more free, even if it's just a little bit. Maybe you can take a deeper breath. Maybe you can relax a little bit more. Maybe you can smile a little bit. And as we're staying with the basket, looking in the basket, we feel the basket. And when we feel the basket, when we put our hands on the basket, we can feel a vibration. And from above, we can feel a heat coming over us. And when we look up, we see a hot air balloon is attached to the basket. And we feel the vibration of it running. We feel the heat from the flame. And we feel the energy. We begin to feel the energy of the basket and how it wants to rise, how it's meant to be above the ground. And as we look around, we recognize that the only thing keeping that basket on the ground are the ropes that are tied to it. The ropes are tied to the basket and tied to something else that's keeping it down. It's keeping it held in that space. And you can feel that it is ready to lift off. It is ready to go. So we begin to become curious at where this basket is being tied down, where these ropes are attached to. And as we follow one of the ropes, we see that that rope leads to our heart space. That one of the ropes keeping that basket on the ground is tied into our heart. And we see the next rope from the other corner of the basket. And we can see that that rope is tied to the lower part of our belly. And then we look at the third rope and we follow that rope from the basket, follow it along, and we see that that rope is tied to our upper belly, to our solar plexus. And we go to the last corner of the basket, the fourth, and we follow that rope, watching with our eyes as it leads us to the end of it tied to our throat. So this basket that so mightily wants to float into the air, to float above, to not be tethered down, we see that in our heart, at the base of our stomach, at the top part of our stomach, and at our throat, this is what is keeping this basket tied to the ground. We unknowingly are keeping all of the things, the contents in that basket, tied to us. But now we have an opportunity to begin to release, to begin to give more room for the basket to raise off the ground. So with your comfort, with your permission, not what your mind tells you is right or what you should do, but what feels safe in your body, in your heart, we begin to unwind those ropes and we begin to allow the basket to raise off of the ground. And as your heart is ready, you stop where you need, but if you would like to continue to unravel those ropes, continue to loosen the hold that you have on the basket. And with each release, allow the basket to go higher and higher. Allow it to begin to float away from you. Allow it to begin to float above your body. And as you're ready, in your comfort, allow the basket to go as high as you can, as high as feels safe for you. And as it continues to raise in the air, you see the beauty of the hot air balloon. You see all of the beauty from that space. Knowing that everything you put in that basket is still safe, it is protected. And then you can decide, do you stay tethered to the hot air balloon for a bit longer? Do you still desire to have a little bit of control over those ropes? Or are you ready to fully release them? Again, don't let your mind make this decision. Don't let your mind tell you what should happen. Allow this to come from your heart, from your gut, from the place that you know is being true to yourself. Because there's no right or wrong. And if you're ready, you can fully release those ropes. Or you can even imagine having a scissors and cutting those energetic ties that you have to everything in the basket. Because you know it will stay safe there. If you're ready, cut those energetic cords, that rope, and allow the balloon to just keep floating. And as we sit and watch the balloon float away, if that's what you chose to do, take note of how your body feels. Take note of if you feel differently now than you did at the beginning of your meditation. Knowing that this moment, this time, can be just the beginning for you to continue. To know that at any time you can bring yourself back to this space. That with time and practice, this feeling can begin to be more normal in your life. It can begin to happen more often. You can always connect back to this space. And in that knowing, we begin to deepen our breath. We begin to feel ourselves back in our body, where we're seated, back in the room, wiggling our fingers and our toes. And when you're ready, on your next exhale, gently open your eyes. There you go, my friends. I hope that was beneficial for you. Feel free to do this as often as you want, and every time can feel different. Every time the balloon can go further, stay closer. As I said, don't let your mind tell you what should or shouldn't happen here. Use this as an opportunity to connect with your intuition, with your heart, and just allow what happens to happen. All right. Thank you.